But to avoid us saying too many things that are unidiomatic, I want to give us another verb which is very, very useful, which is the verb to want or desire, which is vilja. Do you want to say vilja?
Vilja?
Yeah, vilja.
Vilja.
Yeah. Any guesses what it's related to in English?
No.
Wish, or something.
Oh, well, it means things connected with the word wish, but it's related to the word will.
Will.
As in, I will do something. And in Icelandic, ég vil gera means I want to do something. But originally the English word meant I want to do something or I desire to do it. And we have it in things like your last will and testament. And that's your what you want to happen. Rachel may already have picked up how to say I want to do it.
Jeg vilja að gera það.
Very impressive. And so you're having a bit of trouble. I haven't taught you this properly. All I said was very fleetingly ég vil gera það, or ég vil gera. So yeah, excellent. Vilja is the infinitive form which we would use after the word að in a construction like ég að vilja, which actually is quite unidiomatic thing to say, but I am wanting. So if it's just I, you have to say ég vil. Okay, ég vil, and then you don't have to put að. So this is a bit like in English. Sometimes you have to put the word to in, I want to go, and sometimes you don't have to put the word to in, like I will go. And with this particular verb in Icelandic, you don't have to put in an að. So just ég vil gera það. Do you want to try that?
Ég vil gera það.
Ben might want to say I want to learn it.
Jeg vil læra það.
Exactly. Ég vil læra það. Excellent. This is a slightly irregular verb, which is annoying. It would have been nice to start you off with regular verbs, but the irregular ones are just so common. We'll just get a few of these slotted in near the beginning of the course. So ég vil, pretty straightforward. And let's just learn one or two new verbs so that we've got a bit more stuff to have fun with. We should learn the verb for to have. It's hafa. So Icelandic infinitives, the normal form, pretty much always end in an A. So if you want to go from have to the Icelandic form, you just put an A on the end. Hafa. So Rachel, would you like to say I want to have it?
Jeg vil hafa það.
Maybe Ben would like a different new verb. You could perhaps have a less memorable one, but a really useful one, which is reyna. And reyna means to try. And this is a verb that you just use so much in Icelandic. It's just worth learning. So would you like to say I am trying it? Or I want to try it.
Jeg vil reyna það.
Yeah, ég vil reyna það. You could even try saying I want to try to do it.
Jeg vil reyna gera það.
Excellent.
Okay.
Yeah, that was right. Apart from one little að, which you haven't been taught about. So, ég vil reyna
að gera það.
Exactly. And just the more you'll hear this, and you'll just start to know where those ads come in idiomatically. Ég vil reyna að gera það. Maybe you could imagine yourself wanting to be a king and reigning over a whole kingdom. You would try to be the king. You would try to reign. You don't look very convinced. But anyway, Rachel, do you want to...
Sorry, I didn't mean to know.
do you want to just try, I want to try to work?
Jij wil reyna að vinna.
Vinna. Ég vil reyna að vinna.
Oh.
That's all you needed.
Okay.
Do you want to say it again?
Ég vil reyna að vinna.
Yeah. Well, I'll say it back in the second person. Þú vilt reyna að vinna. So you were completely right. Ég vil reyna að vinna. Þú vilt. Just like thou wilt. So in Shakespeare, we say you want to speak.
Þú vilt tala að... Oh no.
That's it.
Þú vilt tala.
Yeah, þú vilt tala.
Þú vilt tala.
Yeah. And Rachel could perhaps say, you want to say it.
Þú vilt not sure on say.
That's okay. Take a wild guess.
This has happened before. Say that.
Yeah, þú vilt segja það.
Keeps escaping me.
No, that's totally fine. Let's do he in. Then we'll add he in. So the word for he wants to is han vill. This is the thing that's written with two L's but has this lateral stop, as it's called, this sound. Do you want to do your... that's great, that's come on lovely.
That full bird situation has been haunting me all week.
Excellent. Well, would you like to try saying he wants to work?
Han vill vinna.
Han vill vinna. That was it. Han vill vinna.
Han vill vinna.
Yeah. And Ben might want to say, she wants to try to speak Icelandic.
Hún vill reyna að tala íslensku.
Yeah, hún vill reyna að tala íslensku. Perfect. So we've got ég vil læra íslensku, þú vilt læra íslensku, hann vill læra íslensku, and hún vill læra íslensku, og það vill læra íslensku. Hopefully you remember the word. Put in another high frequency word, which is the word for but. If you're going to say and, you might as well learn but, which is n. Just n.
N.
Yeah.
N.
So you could perhaps, Rachel, say, I want to learn Icelandic, but you do not.
Ég vil íslenska það.
Oh, lots of right things there. Ég vil. Let's have learn now.
Ég vil læra íslenska.
Exactly. And then we have the word but.
And
then you, let's have you don't want to learn Icelandic. And we might need to work at this before you kind of are comfortable with it.
Using thu or?
Yeah, let's have thu.
So and thu. I'm not sure now.
That's okay.
Don't.
I think I remember this.
Okay, on then.
Is it ekki?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And ekki means not.
Not.
And so in Icelandic they don't have the you do not want to. They don't use the do thing at all, or don't.
Okay.
They say you want not to learn Icelandic. So let's have you want not to learn Icelandic.
Þú vill ekki læra íslensku.
Þú vilt ekki læra íslensku. That was brilliant. There were a couple of slight slips there, but given the amount I'd given you to deal with, that was fantastic. Ég vil læra íslensku, en þú vilt ekki læra íslensku. Fab. And Ben might say he wants to say it, but she doesn't want to say it.
He wants to say it. Han vill säga það en hún vill ekki. Is it still ekki?
Já.
Ekki segja það.
Já. Han vill säga það and hún vill as well, so that we've got the full set, and it will help you to kind of go back over the yous and the we's and the days as well. So we'll do it that way, and we might add in some more verbs as we go. If we're dealing with we, we're going to use the word við again, and if we're going to make it into the we form, we'll put on the end again. So all those verbs are regular. You're starting to hopefully recognise some patterns going on. So we would say við William. With William. So Rachel might want to say, we want to try.
With William. William?
With William?
With William. Regna?
Really, really, really close. With William Reina.
Reina.
Yeah. With William Regna means we want to rain, as in to precipitate from the sky. But with William Reina.
Reina.
Yeah. And Ben might want to say with we want to have it.
With William. I can't remember to have it. To have.
Try guessing.
Hava.
Yeah. With William hava.
Hava það.
Exactly. Do you want to say the whole thing?
With William hava það.
Hava það.
Hava það.
Yeah. That was totally perfect. And so it's time for a new one, and I'll give this new verb to Rachel, which is the verb to know. So again, very useful verb. Not least because you'll spend a lot of your time saying "I don't know" in Icelandic. we might practice that in just a moment. But the basic form, the infinitive form, is veta. Veta.
Veta?
Veta. Not verta, but veta.
Veta?
Yeah, veta. So let's say we want to know.
Það.
Sorry.
William. Veta?
Veta.
Veta?
So you're sort of saying verta, and it's more veta.
Veta?
Veta.
Veta?
That'll do. It's the same vowel as we have in words like bit, but longer. So it's not bit, but bit.
Veta?
Yeah, lovely. And I think you got the word for we wrong. What's the word for we?
Thith.
Oh, so that's you, but in the plural. But the word for we rhymes with thith.
Viv.
Yow. Do you want to say the whole thing?
Viv. Actually, I totally forgot what I'm saying.
Sorry, yeah. We want to know.
Viv. William. Veta.
Yeah, with William Veta, and the pronunciation was perfect. With William Veta. Any words in English that might be related to Veta? So, wit.
Wit, okay.
So, if you have wit, these days it means you're funny, I guess. But, if you have your wits...
To have your wits about you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's more distantly related to the word wise as well, but wit might help to give you a peg to hang Veta on. So, with William Veta. At some point I'll throw in I don't know as well, just because it's
another
useful. Verb, I think. Let's have skilja, which is to understand. Again, this is going to be a verb that you use a lot in Icelandic because you'll spend a lot of time saying I don't understand. So, although we'll come on to how to say precisely I don't understand later, it's just so useful. So, we'll start with just we again. We want to understand, and it's skilja.
With. skam. Við,
Just get it underway, just get started, it's fine. Just how might the word for wanting begin?
Við,
Vil.
vil, of course.
So, no.
Við vil skilja.
Excellent. Við, vil, and then we have to put this ending on that goes with the við. So, við viljum skilja.
Skilja.
Do you want to say all that?
Við viljum skilja.
Yeah, við viljum skilja. We want to understand. Let's just try, this would be an unidiomatic thing to say, but it's just useful to get your head around it. Let's say we are understanding.
Við vilja. Að vilja.
Right, so it's við erum að vilja. So this ending goes with við. So við erum að vilja. And then you might want to say we were understanding. We were understanding.
I have no idea on were.
That's okay. So it begins with W in English, so what might it begin with in Icelandic?
Vi.
Yeah,
So-
absolutely.
Verum.
Really good. Not quite, but really good. Við vorum.
Vorum. Við vorum skilja.
Yeah, við vorum að skilja. But don't worry, all I'm trying to get you used to is you say the word við and your lips know that pretty soon an is coming up. Við erum, við vorum, and við viljum. Við viljum skilja. Is that okay?
Við viljum skilja.
Yeah. We could also say we want to try to understand.
Við viljum gerta.
So you're thinking of gera,
Gera.
which is a good verb, which means to do. But let's just have we want to do it.
Við viljum gera það.
Yeah, við viljum gera það. We want to do it. And Ben might say, hopefully, we want to try to understand.
Við viljum að reyna. Við viljum að reyna.
We are trying to understand.
Við viljum að reyna skilja.
Really excellent. It's not quite right because your as wound up in the wrong place, but everything else is working fine.
Så við viljum reyna að skilja.
Exactly. Yeah. Brilliant. I know
Við
this is a lot
viljum
in your heads, but hopefully some patterns are starting to sort of settle in. We'll finish off wanting stuff. So, ég vil læra íslensku, þú vilt læra íslensku, hún vill læra íslensku og hann vill læra íslensku og við viljum læra íslensku. All right so far? So let's have you, and it will be þið viljið. Þið viljið. So rather than viljum, it will be viljið, which is, well, if it helps, it rhymes with þið again.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's get Ben to say you want to know it.
Þið viljið vita það.
Já, þið viljið vita það. Brilliant. And Rachel might try saying you want to say it.
Við viljið segja það.
You said við viljið, which would mean we. So við is we and
Þið is
you.
you.
So do you want to say you want to say it?
Þið viljið segja það.
Já, þið viljið segja það. And you want to have it.
Þið viljið hafa það.
Yeah. So they'd just put in the third person plural, the they form, it's vilja, which is the same as the infinitive form. So just the basic form of the verb is vilja, and that happens to be the same as the they form. And this is completely normal in Icelandic. It doesn't work for the verb to be, because the verb to be is really irregular. But for almost all other verbs, if you want to say the they form, it's the same as the basic form. So it's not too hard. So they want to have it, if they're men.
Þeir vilja hafa það.
Excellent. Þeir vilja hafa það. And Rachel might want to say, they want to find it.
Þeir vilja finna það.
Þeir vilja
Finna
það, exactly. So I was getting tongue twisted. So, and if they were women and they wanted to learn Icelandic, you would say they want to learn Icelandic.
Þeir.
Closer. Þeir is men,
Þeir.
but this is
Þeir.
Þær. Yeah. So þeir is men and þær is women.
Þeir vilja, and I can't remember what yes means.
Learn Icelandic.
Þeir vilja læra íslensku.
Yeah, þær vilja læra íslensku. And I don't think I've given Rachel any learning Icelandic practicing, actually, but we'll have to leave it for another time, because I want to give you a new verb instead, which is a verb that means to get. They've got quite a lot of words meaning to get something. Taka. Yeah. Any guesses what it might be related to in English?
Take.
Yay! Okay, so do you want to just say they want to take it?
Þær vilja taka það.
Þær vilja taka það. I think you said þara, so
Þær.
just one syllable. Þær.
Þær vilja taka það.
Yeah, þær vilja taka það. And Ben might want to try saying they want to try to take it if they are neuter or they're men and women.
Þeir.
Only one syllable and neither of those.
Þeir.
No, so it's þau.
Þau.
Yeah, so we'll definitely have to practice that a bit more.
Þau vilja.
They want to try to take it.
Þeir vilja reyna að taka
it.
Það.
Já. Þau vilja reyna að taka það. Þau vilja reyna að taka það. Ben might try saying, we want to know, but they don't want to know. And you can have male people.
So, you want to know.
We want to know.
We. Við viljum að... Nei, við viljum vita en þeir vilja ekki vita.
Yeah.
Vita.
Við viljum vita.
So,
and we've had a chance to think about we were and we are, and think about the verb to be and say things with that, which is fantastic. And we've been able to say that we want to do stuff, and that's allowed us to sort of bring in lots of other verbs idiomatically to just add to our pile of things that we can do. And those will slowly sink towards the bottom of your memory, and slowly I'll kind of dredge them to the top, and eventually they'll get stuck. So hopefully that will be all right. But what I'd love to do now is to get started on nouns, because without nouns you can't do very much with a language. Unfortunately, nouns are the hardest thing in Icelandic, or at least, yeah, they're just the hardest thing in Icelandic, for reasons that will slowly become apparent. Hopefully they'll only become apparent slowly, and we'll be able to kind of ease you gently into noun world in Icelandic. So we'll start with the easiest bunch of nouns, which is neuter nouns. You don't have to, the terminology is not important, but all the nouns that we're going to do in this session are neuter, and they all behave in the same way. So just like in English, we've got different ways of making nouns work. So you've got things like one teacher, lots of teachers, so you put a z on the end to say that it's plural. You also have one child, lots of children, where you have on the end to say that it's a plural. Or one ox, lots of oxen, if you ever talk about oxen.
All the time.
Yeah, right. And we've got man and men. And so Icelandic has a range of different ways of making its nouns work, which is quite annoying, and a bigger range than English. But we'll start with these neuter nouns, which are relatively well behaved, and so that will help us to get used to a bit more stuff with neuter groups of people then. So Rachel could have a go at they want to travel.
Þau vilja vara
Close.
varum
Fara.
fara
Þau vilja fara. That's it.
Ah.
We'll make it a bit harder for you. The word for home in Icelandic, in the sense of if you're going home, is heim.
heim
Exactly. So if you want to say they want to go home when they're men and women,
Þau vara
þau vilja
vilja Þau vilja fara
heim.
heim
Þau vilja fara heim. Þau vilja fara heim. Is that sounding okay?
yeah
Alright, I'm going to stick with þau just for a little bit longer. One of the interesting things about the verb fara, it means to travel, but it also means to begin, which is quite a new usage as well. So again, I suspect over your lifetimes, if you keep speaking Icelandic, you'll find this a more and more useful construction. But it can mean to begin. So Ben might try saying, and we're dealing with men and women still, they were beginning to learn Icelandic.
Þau viljuru.
So this is just they were, and so we had. Yeah, that's okay. So if it's they want, it's þeir vilja, and if it's they were, is it?
Yeah.
Does it happen to be in your mind, Rachel?
No.
It's okay. Þau. Þau voru.
Þau voru.
So they were beginning to learn Icelandic.
Þau voru fara að læra íslensku.
Really good. Þau voru að fara
Okay.
að læra íslensku.
Right.
So okay, it's a new construction, and those ads, you'll just get
They'll
used to
come.
them. Yeah. Þau voru að fara að læra íslensku. Rachel might try to say they were beginning to work here.
Þau vara að fara I've forgotten work. I'm not sure.
No problem at all. So there's a word in English that is not work that this is related to.
It's,
Vinna.
Vinna.
Win.
It's related to
Win.
win. Yeah, exactly. So we've got finna, find, and vinna, to work. So they, men and women, they were beginning to work here.
Þau voru
Voru.
Þau voru að finna hér það.
Just here.
Oh, here.
For here. So you said they were working here, which is lovely. Þau voru að vinna hér. Do you want to just say all that back?
Þau voru að vinna hér.
Yeah, þau voru að vinna hér. And if it was they were beginning to work here, Ben?
Þau voru að fara að vinna hér.
Yeah, þau voru að fara að vinna hér. Which isn't that unlikely a sentence in colloquial modern Icelandic. Brilliant. So hopefully that's helped these þau, well, þeir, þær and þau forms to settle in a bit. But we'll keep coming back to them and they'll keep sinking in. Alright, so we've now got two verbs. We've got am and we've got was, which goes with am. And we've also got, we've had a chance to think about we were and we are and think about the verb to be and say things with that, which is fantastic. And we've been able to say that we want to do stuff, and that's allowed us to sort of bring in lots of other verbs idiomatically to just add to our pile of things that we can do. And those will slowly sink towards the bottom of your memory, and slowly I'll kind of dredge them to the top, and eventually they'll get stuck. So hopefully that will be all right. But what I'd love to do now is to get started on nouns, because without nouns you can't do very much with a language. Unfortunately, nouns are the hardest thing in Icelandic for reasons that will slowly become apparent, and we'll be able to kind of ease you gently into noun world in Icelandic. Yeah, so we'll start with the easiest bunch of nouns, which is neuter nouns. The terminology is not important, but all the nouns that we're going to do in this session are neuter, and they all behave in the same way. So just like in English, we've got different ways of making nouns work. So you've got things like one teacher, lots of teachers, so you put a z on the end to say that it's plural. You also have one child, lots of children, where you have un on the end to say that it's a plural. Or one ox, lots of oxen, if you ever talk about oxen.
All the time.
Yeah, right. And we've got man and men. And so Icelandic has a range of different ways of making its nouns work, which is quite annoying, and a bigger range than English. But we'll start with these neuter nouns, which are relatively well behaved, and so that will help us to get used to noun activity. Let's learn the word for child, which weirdly is one of the most common nouns in Icelandic. Don't know why, but all these are from the kind of top 1,000 words in Icelandic. And the word for child is barn. It's spelt B-A-R-N, but they don't say barn, they say barn. We'll practice that sound in a minute.
Okay.
Ben looked excited.
Yeah.
Why did you look excited, Ben?
It's just this very northeastern word, which is Ben.
Ben, exactly.
Yeah.
So hopefully that will help you to remember it. Barn.
Yeah.
We'll just practice saying barn a bit so you can get used to this sound. Hopefully you might find you can replicate it without me actually trying to teach it to you. Do you want to just say barn?
Barn.
That was it. A bit more air will come out of the nose when you're really used to it. Barn.
Barn.
Yeah. And that was sort of slightly overstated, so eventually somewhere in between those will be the right form. And when they're talking fast, it's a bit different from when they're talking slow. But Ben, do you want to do barn?
Barn.
Yeah. Barn. Barn.
Barn.
Yeah, that's it. So you could say, I am a child.
Jeg barn.
Yeah, ég barn.
Barn.
And Rachel might want to say, I was a child.
Jeg vil.
That's I want, which is really cool. We'll come back to that. But you're really going in the right direction, because it sounds like you're thinking about was, and you're thinking, no, it begins with a v, but it's actually var.
Var.
So I was a child.
Jeg var barn.
Yeah. Ég var barn.
Barn.
Barn. Yeah, no, I wasn't correcting you. It came out fine. It was really good. Ég var barn. And Ben might say to you, you were a child.
Þú vart barn.
Close. Very good. Þú varst.
Vast.
Rachel
Yeah.
started
Vast.
in Icelandic to say, I want to be a child. So we'll do that.
Ég vil það vera.
Oh, ég vil barn vera would literally be I want a child to be. And actually you could say that in Icelandic. It sounds a bit poetic, but you could say that. But I want to be a child.
Ég vil vera barn.
Yeah, ég vil vera barn. Ég vil vera barn. So we've got barn sorted out, hopefully. But just for listeners, that was my glass. So we might learn the Icelandic word for glass, which is glass.
Glass.
Yeah, glass. Let's say, I want to have glass. Or a glass. They don't have the word for a, so
Okay.
I want to have glass and I want to have a glass is the same.
Ég vil hafa glas.
Yeah, ég vil hafa glass. Which is in itself slightly unlikely, but could eventually become a sentence that might involve having a drink. But fantastic. Ég vil hafa glass. And Rachel might say, you want to take a glass.
Þú vil. What's the ending? Vil. I want to say viljum.
No. So what we'll do is pause for a minute before we do you want to take a glass. Let's just have you are.
Yeah. Þú ert.
Þú ert.
Erum.
Oh no, þú ert.
Ert.
So the thu form has a t on the end.
Mhm.
Þú ert. Hopefully that sort of rings a bell. Like thou art.
Mhm.
And if you want to say you were, do you remember the form for that?
Verum.
Again, very good. So what you're at the moment you've got the plurals in your mind because that's what we did most recently. So þú varst. Okay.
Mhm.
So you are is þú ert, a bit like thou art, and you were is þú varst, a bit like thou wast,
Mhm.
for what it's worth. And you want is þú vilt. Exactly, þú vilt, a bit like thou wilt. So all of these, not all of them, we'll come to some verbs that don't do this, but so far all of these you singular verbs have a t on the end.
Mhm.
Þú vilt. So you want to take a glass.
Þú vilt. I'm not sure.
Oh,
Take.
Take a wild guess.
Taka.
Yeah, taka.
Taka. Glass.
Yeah. Þú vilt. Oh, actually, we'll just learn a new word as well, which is the word for now,
No. Okay.
which is nú.
No.
Nú. So you might want to say, you want to be a child now.
Þú vilt vera barn nú.
Nú. Yeah. Þú vilt vera barn nú. Excellent. And that now nú thing is going to be very useful. We'll see a lot of words that work like that. Out is út. Mouse is moose. So we've got more examples coming. In fact, we can do an example right now, which is the word for house. Would either of you like to guess the word for house in Icelandic?
Hús.
Hús. Exactly. Perfect. Hús. I am making a house. That make and do are the same verb, if that helps.
Ég sem vinna.
Vinna Vinna is a real word and is a relevant word because it means to work. So that's excellent. Jeg vil vinna, but I want to make, or I want to do, is...
Gerum.
Very, very good. Gera.
Gera.
Yeah. No, I am making a house. Sorry.
Jeg gera hús.
Jeg að gera hús. Just say it back.
Jeg að gera hús.
Exactly. Jeg að gera hús. Probably they would use a different verb if they're building a house, but fundamental to this whole course is the idea that you have to kind of get used to working with the resources available to you. And so, jeg að gera hús, will work pretty well.